We also say a prayer before our podcast, like Beyonce.
We're here, we're queer, and we're ready to party.
You may get used to it. Yeah.
We're here, we're queer, and we have no fear. Namaste.
I love it.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I love it.
We say a prayer before the podcast, like, just like a prayer.
Oh. Just like a prayer.
Your
One can take me down, just like it used to be.
You are a mystery.
Just like a dream.
Oh.
You are not what you seem. Just like a prayer. Your gesture will take me there.
Let's get into it.
Oh, glad that wasn't recording.
We're recording now.
Oh.
Well, just before we get into it, we have a very special announcement for the person that was just on the screen. That was Bronagh Diamond. We are having our first ever guest episode.
And it was a very beautiful conversation. You know, Bronagh is always so fun and so funny. Like, just she's got funny in her bones. But we actually ended up with a gorgeous conversation about Bronagh herself, about her journey. Our show and tell some love is very special.
So in this episode, we got to talk about sobriety, about mental health, and lots of other bits. It was really, really special for us to create. There's been, Becky's just rubbing her eyes there because there's been a few tears.
Yeah, makeup is still going a wee bit dodge here.
But hopefully you guys enjoy it. As ever, let us know that. Give us your feedback. And one thing before we jump into the episode is just to go and give Word Up, Bronagh's podcast, a follow and a listen and a download and ring the bell while you're doing all that for us. And go and find Bronagh Diamond Comedy on all social media platforms. Enjoy. So what a lovely start to our segment here with Bronagh Diamond. We've already told you all about how bloody amazing this woman is. We've been talking about you the last few weeks in the podcast. We've been waiting as you're jet setting and performing all
My ears
over.
have been burning.
You're a busy woman.
Do you know what? I've been really busy this year. It's been a really, really busy year. Don't know whether or not to shit or go blind, but it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It is. It's a really good thing.
Yeah.
It is.
You're killing it.
Yeah, it's mad. And then it's starting to get to that stage now where, like, whenever I started comedy, it was a wee gig here and there. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, I've got asked to do this. And at the same time, I don't actively seek gigs. Like, I'll just take gigs whenever which I'm very privileged to be in that position. But now it's gotten to the stage where I'm so busy that I can actually refer to it as work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I have to go and work. Like, the kids are like, where are you, mummy? It used to be, I'm going to do a wee gig. Now it's like, I'm away to work.
It's not your hobby. It's
Not
actually changed.
yeah.
Now, don't tell the taxman that. It is very much. It's still a hobby and you're unpaid. It's voluntary. It's a voluntary role.
Voluntary.
You're
It
awful
is,
good
it
in the
totally
community.
is. I'm very doing it for cross community purpose.
Shits and giggles.
But the
Aye,
busy,
giggles all day long.
the busier you get, the more that it kind of it feels like that.
Yes. Like, it used to be, whenever I would go to a gig, I would go at the beginning, no matter where I was on the roster, so to speak, or on the bill, and I would stay to the end. And we have a really supportive comedy network in the north here where we do that, you know, in comparison with like lots of other places. We're really supportive of one another. And when I can, I try to stay. But it's gotten to the stage now, like, for example, Wednesday night I had 2 gigs on the one night. So it was, you know, I'll show up and I'll perform and then I'll get off the stage and I might be going to another gig or it's just like, you know, I know it isn't like a typical job, but you wouldn't work in, for example, the bank and go, I'm just going to stay around till Jenny's finished. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's different if you're really feeling it. But
Yeah.
there is definitely like another level. Not that it's unprofessional to stay, but I'd rather than thinking less of performers, say drag queens, for example, people who come, do the number, have a ball, maybe they're sober, and it's 4 a.m, and they'll pack their bags and they'll get in their car and they'll drive back to wherever it is because they've got another 3 shows tomorrow.
work.
Yeah.
It's because it's work, because
It
it's their
is.
job. You don't turn
Yeah.
up to your job. You don't turn up anywhere wasted anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
But you don't turn up to your job in a state and hang about, and you're there for the drinks.
Yeah.
But then that might be part of the story, is that people who sort of need that. You know,
Yes.
and you know this
Yeah,
because
it's
you're
like a
in
cover.
There's a
recovery
lot of
space.
comedians that'll say as well that at the beginning of their comedy, I think a lot of them go through the phase of having a drink before they get on stage, because obviously it's a wee bit of social lubricant that loosens you up a bit. And they'll get on stage and blah, blah, blah. And then once they start realising if they're good enough where it gets to the stage where it's work, like Paddy McDonald will go, nah, I'm all right. You know, like I'm not going to have a drink because it's work for us. So I'm on the clock. I have to drive 2 hours back that way to Belfast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's mad because I do like staying out, and I am quite a social person. When I'm out, I'm up. Do you know what I mean? I like being around people and I get me energy from them. But also, like at the beginning, people would say, we'll make a night of it, sure. We'll all go out and we'll see your gig and then we'll stay out and we'll have a laugh, which is great. But now I'm like, you guys can make a night of it.
Yeah.
And you go out and I'll see you while I'm out and I'll stay for a while after and talk. But I just want to go home and get my fucking my slippers on.
Yeah.
Do you know, I feel quite a bit of guilt with that too, myself, like playing. See when someone says, oh, we're all coming out to see you, you know, and it's like friends or somebody I haven't caught up with in a while, and they're like, oh, brilliant, I'll see you down there, and then they come down and they go, you're not having a drink?
Yeah.
Like, no. And you're like, no, and then they're like, here, come on, we'll do this, and come on, and you're like, I need to pack this stuff away, I need to like move this drum kit over to this place, and I need to go here and that, and they're like, well, come back and we'll go to this, and you're like, I want to have a cup of tea and go to bed after this.
Yeah.
I have to take some time to calm
Decompress.
down
Yeah.
and decompress, and that's not in the amping each other up space. You know, it's a very different feeling.
Like even whenever I go to a gig, like I started comedy after I got sober, and I would joke about that and say I did it when I got sober because I thought to myself, I don't drink anymore, so how the fuck am I going to humiliate myself now? And and comedy's basically the same
Bingo.
thing. You go to a pub, you talk shit to a load of strangers, right? And then you still wake up the next day afraid that you might have offended somebody. It's basically just drinking.
Yeah.
But whenever you get home, sometimes I'll come home and like Curtis and the kids will be in bed, and I'll put a wee cup on for myself and a wee biscuit or something. That's how you end up like this. And I'll sit down. I'll just have to, and I can't even look at social. I go through these stages where I'm really bad with social media. Like lots of people have said to me recently, "What is your crack? Like why are you not on the ball? Are you not posting content?" And
You don't have to be available for
sometimes
nobody.
I just have to step away from my phone because it gives me anxiety. So I'll put the phone down and I'll put on an episode of CSI and watch people get murdered, and that chills me out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And how have you, like, do you find that, like, because obviously comedy is like a creative outlet for you, you know, and it's like, it's writing, it's performing, it's engaging, it's getting those like social batteries, you know, topped up and things again. Have you found that that's been like really helpful with sobriety as well?
Absolutely. In fact, that's a brilliant point, because when I first got sober, I remember thinking, this is my life now, you know. And it's really strange because you think to yourself, whenever I first went to my very first meeting, I remember them saying, Bronagh, this is a life beyond your wildest dreams. And I remember thinking, I really hope that they're not lying to me, because I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But I also I don't feel like I've anything to look forward to, because not so much as that, like, you don't have to be rolling on the floor alcoholic, drinking every day, but drinking's a very big part, especially of our culture over here.
Yeah.
And it's more, why are you not drinking?
Yeah, you're on
What did you
antibiotics,
do?
you're pregnant.
It's not even that it's accepted, it's a requirement. So whenever I get sober, I just get into this drudgery of, like, I had let everything go creatively, you know, that I had been holding on to and that I had been doing, because I had lost that in the later stages of my drinking. And my husband said to me, like, you really just need something for yourself. You need to do something. And I was like, yeah, fucking do something for myself. I sit here and I read my book. Or it wasn't, whenever you are creative, I just feel like if you're repressing that, it starts to rot. You start to feel bitter. You start to feel depressed. And I remember I was in the car. Kurt had to run in and do a job for a friend of mine because he's an electrician. And I was sitting in the car and I felt really depressed, and I went to myself, what can I do? I mean, I have my kids and I don't have time, so I can't go and write a play and direct it and do what I used to do. Like, and there was a song on the radio, I think it was like Verve's Song for Lovers or something, and I remember going, I wish that I had actually properly learned how to play an instrument, because musicians can just write songs and get up and sing them.
Yeah.
And I went, what is there in theatre or in performance that's like music where you can just write it and get up on stage and sing it? And it just came to me. It was like, act of God. I went, comedy.
Love it.
And then I went, oh my God, page to stage. I can just write something and get up and perform it there and then. I don't have to direct anyone. I don't have to tell
Page
people
to
to learn
stage. I've
lines.
never heard of that before.
Just page to stage. I was like, that's it. So I messaged Luke McKibben and then bada bing, I want to do it yesterday. So Luke was
Same.
like, there's a gig tomorrow night. Do you want to come down and do it? And Kurt was like, no, Bernard, no. Give yourself time. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. And I was like, I waited because I said, yes, I can do it. I could write something tonight. And Luke went, no, come next Monday. So I had a whole week. And I left it and didn't write it until the night before anyway.
Of course.
And I was like, right. And some of my family came down to see me, and I was just like,
sweeties.
I have arrived. And I got up on the stage. I was shitting myself. Was shaking like a dog's dick. And I got up on the stage, and I just absolutely fucking loved it. And ever since then, people were like, "Do you want to come and do this gig, or do you want to come and do that gig?" And
Just
it
happened
just took off
organically.
from there
Because
organically.
you said that before. I don't know if you just said that, but that you don't really like actively kind of search for work.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest
beautiful.
dick energy ever. Just
Yeah.
the work kind of just comes to me.
Just arrives.
Yeah.
Because you have that thing that often people can't write or make up or train for, which is just, and this is going to
Charisma.
be embarrassing for you, but it's charisma and it's a wee bit of magic.
Aw.
You know, you kind of got that, like, and it's combining that and your personality with the skills that you've actually got. You know,
I think, do you know what? I can't really take credit for that in terms of my degree. Shout out to McGee. The drama degree really put that in place where I don't get on stage with a notebook. I've never done it. Right?
Yeah.
And other comedians who are like, oh, I didn't really like that. And I go, put the fucking notebook down. And I'm not doing it as though I'm the big... I've had shitty gigs. Everybody has. I blame the audience. But sometimes you just get rooms. There definitely is a phenomenon of liveness. Studied that in uni too. And there's a thing about a room and the way that a room is laid out and the way that, you know, the audience is prepared.
Yes.
But you'll get some people and they're going, oh, and I go, that's great material. You do not need to read that out off a notebook. I know that's your wee safety behaviour. But in comedy, if they don't trust you, you've lost them.
You've got to
So
lead
if
it.
you don't trust yourself,
So you have to get on there as if I'm going to make you laugh. You're going to love me. And I think that's like the key is just if the audience trusts you enough to think, well, she's confident here, I can relax, because they're not on edge going, oh shit, am I going to have to fake laugh here? And that the drama prepares you for that, because we had lecturers like Tom McGuire would be like, put the script down, put the fucking script down. You should be off book. Do you know what I mean? And just that strict sort of, you know, routine where people think that, don't get me wrong, it's gotten to the stage now where I do just go off on like I went.
You can trust yourself.
You can trust yourself to go, I've worked on this material before. I mightn't have done it in a while. Actually, I thought of this the other day, but here, we'll try it out here for the crack.
Yeah.
You know, and you have a bit of a laugh. Like there was people in the audience on Wednesday night from London, so I just completely went off on a tangent about London. And I think I might have done the ADHD thing where I was just like mimicking accents, and I have to remember that that's not polite all the time. And I was like, all right, is that you're from fucking London?
I think the rule is you're not allowed to do it to any other accent, but you are definitely allowed to do it to English people.
English people deserve it.
Yeah.
My husband, God love him, but he does us.
Yeah.
Well, he does me.
Does your husband do a Northern Irish accent? Do like a Belfast accent?
He does. He was in Full when he moved over here. He has quite a lot of our mannerisms now. And the first time that he ever said "I" organically, without actually having to put it on, he did it subconsciously one day, and I went, "Did you do that?" And he went, "Hi," and I went, and he looked like he wanted to put his whole fist in his mouth. But
there's a thing that happens with accents though, and it's people will not be able to help taking on the intonation. They can help how they pronounce the words. And so what I found, like, because I lived in England for 8 years, and you would have people that would maybe come from here, and then like literally 3 weeks later, they're like all of a sudden, oh, governor, you know, and it's just like, what way are you getting on?
Shut up,
seriously,
Rodney, you slag.
5, 6, 7, 8. You know, not 8. You know, and like I suppose it happens with a lot of people in accents here. They could be still here, and they're doing that weird pronunciation thing.
Whenever I went to Derry and I come down, I think there's this we
Do you
have
mean
this.
London, Derry?
No,
Never heard of it.
This is a podcast.
A broadcast. I love it. But whenever I went up there to Derry, what do they call it? Stroke City.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's distracted you now. I really, to be clear to the audience, to be clear to anyone listening or watching, that was a joke.
It's Derry.
It is Derry. The people of Derry call it Derry, so it's
In case
Derry.
anyone's confused.
And the
Derry.
lore of that is that Bronagh outed us on her podcast. Word Up as Protestants. So one of her
Sorry.
questions was, users don't seem it, but just are actually proud of things.
Not anymore.
Yeah. We're Buddhists.
Buddhist. I didn't realize I knew that many Buddhists because I see people in their first communion costumes, like they're putting their kids up, and then the next day they're talking about karma, and I'm like,
That's what it
thought
is.
you were a fucking Catholic.
I go and sage her.
But whenever I went to Derry,
Yeah.
we have this Pygmalion effect over here where I felt like I was, in my Fair Lady, I was like, I'm from a working class background.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rough as fuck. But I've went to Derry and I'm surrounded by people from all different parts of the world and everywhere else. And I was starting to enunciate words properly, and I was talking and saying my ings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I come down here and I was talking the way that who the fuck does
You've got
she
notions
think
hanging out of
she
you.
is? So Molly Cameron will listen to her. Fuck's sake, and I knew her ma. She didn't have a fucking shit her name. You know what I mean? And you're going, I don't think I'm any better than it. But now, obviously, I'm fully
Embrace yourself.
Yeah, fully back to just who I am now, and fucking I live in a council estate. This is who I am. This is the way I talk. But because I was used to it, whenever you're speaking to people up there and they don't understand what you're saying sometimes, because we speak really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do, but in England, like Curtis would go to me, slow down, darling, and I go, keep up, dear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
So you're saying the people of Derry didn't understand you?
In fairness,
Are they?
though.
Come
the
on.
uni people. The
uni people.
You might have
So-
there was a French guy there, and he was on. Oh, fuck's sake, sure, he thought I was a gig because I convince people that I can speak either fluent French or fluent Spanish,
Yes.
so long as you don't speak fluent French or fluent Spanish.
Yes.
You just, the way Catholic school.
Can
you're
we hear a
forced.
bit of your Spanish? I mean, is it the Latin in it? It's the Latin in it that you
So
kind
basically, do you speak any French?
of... Beck speaks a little bit of French and a little bit of Spanish.
Je vous salue, Marie. Bien de grâce. Le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes. Et Jésus le fruit.
I think that's like
The Fonds on Paella.
like
in
Shakespearean
French.
English. That's like the version of that in French.
It
You don't really
is.
understand it, but you know that it's mostly the same words. But
It
just
is
from
the
the old.
Hail
All I
Mary.
got was freight. Is that chip?
It's the Hail Mary. Chip. We better your wee freight. I say the Hail Mary in Spanish. You're a wee freight. My head's fried like a freight. But yeah, so the Hail Mary in Spanish or French, because that's the one thing that's drilled into you in secondary school when you're an old Catholic. It's,
Yes.
Couldn't fucking ask where the pub is, but I can say the Hail Mary fully. So, Dios te salve María, llena de gracia, el Señor es contigo,
careful
bendita tú
jumping.
eres. Right? So I just go off.
Don't you be exercising us.
So he thought, I have exercised the demon.
I'm having a day off. I'm not doing the gym.
But yeah, he thought I could speak French, and then I went into no regarian, but I went into the Specsavers version of it, where it was no should have gone to Specsavers,
Yes.
and he just realised that I was insane.
Yeah, that
And,
you were actually. It was just a little touch of
We
what you call that sort of country to country difference? I want to say xenophobia. Is that right? That is
Yeah,
right. Isn't it? It's
xenophobia.
not just for
It's not
our
race.
Jewish community. It is
Xenophobia
for
is the fear of anything foreign. So
foreigners.
There's a lot of xenophobia around
anything
here.
foreign.
Not with
it
us.
could be anything. So somebody can be xenophobic that just doesn't like anybody from the next street.
Well, you might
Or
be,
doing.
you might be anti-French, but you were very welcome. Like, I'm a boy from East Belfast, Or sorry, I'm a non-binary person from East Belfast. I think about the child then, and there'll be the haters out there, the right wing that'll be like, "Ha, see, non-binary doesn't exist. You're just making it up. They did
Because you were referring to yourself
They did that
as a
to
puppy.
they did that to Sam Smith, and they were
Did
talking
they?
about fishermen, and they used the term. They sort of corrected themselves and said fisher, which I think is a load of wank, but fisher them, and it was like right,
That's
okay,
funny.
we are getting into a mad.
That is
space here.
hilarious.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but like I am personally so excited to see your show and tell some love item, and I would
Okay.
love if we
I
could.
completely forgot
Yeah.
that that's a segment.
Yeah, we're really
I'm
getting this
sorry.
podcast thing
Just
right.
to be,
now.
just to be clear, and I know we shouldn't really talk about behind the scenes, but we already recorded a wee bit of this. But this morning, I don't know
I
how
think
to
we
describe
should show it anyway, because my cup of tea story is...
Right, what
Chef's
we'll
kiss.
do, we'll put it out there. We'll put it out on TikTok or Instagram or
Or
whatever.
your wee Patreon whenever you start it, just all the
That's
wee
it.
bits that you cut.
Well, we're going to do our Patreon's going to be just below the desk, and it's just our flaccid cocks.
Yes.
Connor doesn't like to mention it much, but Connor has celiac disease.
Yes, I don't like to mention it much, but I am a celiac.
Yeah, and
And-
also
Do you get
it's
your wee
non-binary.
prescription sandwiches?
Yes,
Yes.
prescription bread,
But
and
I
pizzas and
think
stuff.
I've been glutened over the last couple of days, and also sidebar wore heels on Friday night. So all of that combined has given me a lot of pains.
Eating the heels of the bread and wearing heels makes you dead.
You also got that tooth out, and I just couldn't sit beside you anymore.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Way around the corner if
It
you
was
want
a
to talk to
stenchier-
me.
stenchier
Your
tooth
fucking
hole.
breath is rotten.
I'm only joking. It wasn't.
Your tooth hole. I sent my dad a message, said, Daddy, I have a massive hole in my mouth. Right?
Tell me something now.
He's one of them months. Tell me something new. So my wee show and tell some love. Mine's actually quite sentimental.
Oh, love it.
Mostly mental, but Santa.
Love it.
love it.
Let's see.
Right, so where did
it's down there.
Oh, it's there, it's there. So mine is
Exciting. Oh,
this. Right?
So it's a bottle of McCrory's
homemade gin.
homemade gin.
Is this
Gin.
are you staging an intervention? Are we having to do this now?
No, that was done for me many a year ago.
So is there gin inside of it?
Intervention.
Yeah.
So there's actually gin inside
Yeah.
this, right? Now, old Bronagh, this would never have made it out of the venue that I was getting it in, right? This is a wee bottle of gin that was made by Aoife.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Aoife
We did
is...
promise to mention Aoife because she
and
did.
she has complained we don't talk about her enough on the
Right.
She sent us a
podcast,
message
so-
when we were on
Did
yours
she?
to say, well, you could have fucking mentioned me more.
Right, well...
This is her moment.
Aoife McCrory is my best mate.
Yeah, she's a
Right.
sweetie.
We love her.
She's my wee person. Look, it even has the date on 26th of the 9th, 2019. And their wedding was so bougie. They had their own gin. They did it in AM, PM. It was just
Gorgeous.
so class, right?
Gorgeous.
And
They had their own gin. Can I have a wee touch of it? So it's a little
Yes.
tiny bottle.
A wee teeny
with a
bottle.
sticker on it saying McCrory's handmade gin or homemade gin. And it is, it's like that lovely sort of rosy colour, isn't it?
it's like a pink gin they made.
Yeah.
It's probably rotten. But what I'm joking you.
Can I open it for a sniff?
Yeah, open it all day long. I think Curtis actually did open it and take a swig, like
Gag.
back whenever it was
Solidarity.
solidarity.
Oh, back whenever
Yeah.
you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But the thing is, Aoife and I, we met in university,
Yes.
right? And we just instantly, it turns out like my sister and her cousins were really close. Our families all grew up with that sort of same music. They were all like Dylan heads, Leonard Cohen, the poets, you know.
Yes.
And we just instantly vibed because she came in with her ma and I was asking for a lighter, right? And I said, I wonder how the group does, by the way. Bronagh, Aoife, Nuala.
I wonder.
Wonder.
I wonder.
But I came in and I said to her in front of her mummy, have you a lighter? At this stage, her ma didn't know that she smoked, I believe. And she was like, no, I don't have a lighter. And I was like, right, okay. And she said, why don't you light it off the toaster? And I went, fuck, right enough, there's a toaster in here, you know, in the flat in Derry. And I lit it off the toaster. Sidebar, we went on to break about 7 toasters in our
Lighting
whole time in
fags
Derry.
off them.
lighting
Lighting
fags
fags?
off.
Yeah.
But we got to know one another. It was just instant. I met my lobster, right? And we were there. We have been with each other through thick and thin, like full on. You know, probably if we hadn't met her, could have just married each other. You know,
Did you ever have sex? Or?
but I don't think so. There might have been.
I love
could
it
have
that you
been,
don't
and
think
not
so.
remembered it. But used to like, you know, like have a wee snog, Nancy,
Yeah.
and just I love you. so
Aw.
much.
Of course.
And but the thing is, we went through this phase when I was drinking, as you know, I was going through a shitty time, and we had what I now like to refer to as our sabbatical. So for a few years of our life, we didn't see each other, right? We just weren't in each other's lives at all. And that was, I have to say, fuck all the guys, all the men have. That was the worst breakup I've ever been through in my life, right? It was the hardest time, you know. And whenever I met Curtis and I was, you know, meeting this person that was so amazing, I always referred to Aoife and spoke about her.
Like your ex?
As if it was, yeah. And I was reading this article before and it said, the girl that used to be in all my selfies. And I'd crying. But, you know, I went on with my life and I did do things and I had a good life and I had wee and I always missed her. I always felt like something was missing. And I got sober. And it just so happened that something really terrible happened. And my friend and her cousin, who was her very close friend also, took her own life. And I remember that whenever I heard it, it was one of those things that just breaks all sort of, there's no format for this. And my instant thing was, I need to get in touch with Aoife. I need to make sure she's okay, right? Because her cousin was like a wee sister to her, you know, as well. And I just remember going, I have to be there for her. So, and it was about a month before her wedding. And
Before Aoife's wedding?
Before Aoife's wedding. And Nuala was due to be a bridesmaid. And I just remember taking her down to try and get her something to wear to the funeral and just trying to be there for her. And I remember thinking, like, I don't really deserve to be in your life, but if I can help or if I can do anything, I'll just be here for you. But I'm not expecting. My sobriety had taught me a lot, and it had taught me to just let things be. I had let it go a long time ago. I had been sober a few years and I'd been like, well, that was a learning experience for me, and you know, that part of my life is over with Aoife in it. But when that happened, I just wanted to be there for her, and I backed off. You know, I wasn't trying to impose in her life, but it was like, I'm here if you need me, if you need a lift anywhere. And then we just connected again and came together again. And a month or two later, after all of that, she had said to me, Bronagh, listen, I know I'm getting married. I thought about you on your wedding day, Bronagh, because on my wedding day I thought about her and I went, she should be here, as I was walking down the aisle. And on her wedding day she went, I want you to come to the wedding. Like, will you come? And I was like, I'd be honoured to go to your wedding. And I sat there at the table and they had made all of these little bottles of gin. And by the way, I did have that talk with her, even though we hadn't been like close in years. Whenever we sat, and I said, is he a bastard? Is he a secret bastard? Just tell me now, because you know. And she was like, no, Bronagh, he's not. I really love him. I really love him, because we had both in the past been with secret bastards, you know, who don't seem that like that in front of other people. Yeah. But I was like, is he? Are you sure? Are you happy? So I said at her wedding, and it was a couple of years sober, but it wasn't as natural to me as it is now. And this little bottle of pink gin was sitting on the table in front of me. And I thought to myself, God, that looks lovely. And I hadn't tried the pink gin yet. You know, it became a thing after I got sober. And I was like, I've never ever got to have a pink gin. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, and I looked around at all my friends that were sitting at this round table, university friends and Aoife. And I just remembered thanking God. And I went, I'll never forget this moment. It's like the crown jewel in my sobriety. And I was like, just for being able to set that down and go, I'm not going to drink that. I got all of this back. Yeah. You know, and remembering, you know, everything that we had and we speak about Nuala all the time. We talk about her and I'm like, you know, she's with us. You know, she was like, right. I just felt like it was a tragedy that Nuala left us, but I feel as though in her leaving, she has told me, right, now you need to be there. Do you know what I mean? And in that way, we both have, and we are too. We say to each other, we have love-ins. Like whenever she comes to gigs with me, we were driving up to Derry and we'll be sitting and we'll just talk about how much we love each other. Yeah. And like how much we're so blessed and how much our lives are great and how much we love seeing other people doing well. And so that I kept this little bottle because I'm just like, that's my reminder of, because what is it they say? They like to say in AA, they go, a thimbleful of alcohol is too much for an alcoholic. And yet all the alcohol in the world isn't enough. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, by being able to abstain from this, I got I got my best friend back.
There's
Yeah,
something
that's
about
beautiful.
having to be there, you know, because often you can't see it in the cloud and the mist of it all. But there's something about a moment. So you've got your family and you've got your husband and, you know, you have the people around you, but there's something about a moment like that really that solidifies that, to say, no, I have to be here, not just for Aoife, not just for my other friends, but for my community. And you're not given all of you,
Yes.
and all of your talent and your work and all of your mumminess and your mumminess and all of your, you know, all of those bits. It takes sometimes those types of moments just to really, like you say, just kind of like crystallize it in the moment, you know.
As well, you know, even that wee moment where I just went, thank you, God, like I'm here. And I have my friends, and I'm at this moment. And whenever I get sober, I started to notice that as well. Like with my kids, I have 2 sobriety babies now, added on to the 2 fuck ups. But I remember looking at them playing with each other, and I was just thinking to myself, God, have they always done this? You know, just starting to ground yourself and be present in the moment and not constant, because it's escapism. With me, with alcoholism and not doing creative things, that's what it was. I needed to escape in my mind and distract. I was bored, and I drank a lot out of boredom.
Yeah,
You
to numb.
know, I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm bored.
It's an
I'm bored.
ADHD thing as
It
well.
is,
Like,
yeah.
you know, it's like whenever you've got the racing mind and the racing thoughts and that brimming with like, well, talent, curiosity, all of those things. Sometimes like a substance is what it takes
Just to
give
take
you
the
a
edge
break.
off, to stop you from thinking constantly, like overwhelming yourself with all of these thoughts, and you're just, you know, we don't utilize the other things that we need to do. You know, some of us, like, you need to be creative, or you need to interact with people, or you need to, do you know what I mean? And yeah, so
And when you numb all of the negative stuff, what you're also doing is numbing the positive stuff and the joy at
that's
the same
true.
time. Do you
That
know?
is true.
So
And you know what happened? Actually, I only discovered this the other day. I was reading something, and so the PFC, the prefrontal cortex in your brain, right? It is what sort of, I don't want to like misquote, but essentially, when you drink alcohol, right, or for example, you sleep, you dream, and you have all these crazy dreams, things like that, you know, it's trying to process things that you're doing throughout the day. And whenever you're drinking alcohol, I started to get really aggressive, like upset,
With
angry,
yourself, with other people.
like with myself, feeling sorry. Oh, poor me, you know. And it was all of the things that I was repressing during the day or when I wasn't drinking that were coming out when I was drunk. So if you start to, normally the way, like they'll say about men getting aggressive or men crying when they're drunk, when they don't normally. And normally you have to look and go, why am I doing that while I'm drunk? It's because I am upset about this when I'm not drunk and I'm not handling it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just about learning to live life on life terms.
It's sometimes I think you can't process it because your body is processing the whatever the poison is. So if it's alcohol, if it's speed, if it's whatever else, your body is spending so much time processing that you don't have time sometimes, or the emotional space to work through the shit you have to work through.
Yeah.
You know, and then then your body becomes reliant, or you teach your body that's
your
where
vessel,
you get
your
your
outlet.
joy, or you get where you get your anger out, or where you get your, because for years I would sort of think about going out. We're relatively sober. We have a few drinks and maybe we smoke, but I mean, like, I have had problems with all drugs.
Yeah, like
And
the party lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm the party, and oh, sorry, I got lost on that. There.
well,
Isn't that funny?
I think I was going to say something that I think is sort of a similar thing in that no matter what, whether you're dealing with anger or upset or joy or whatever, you're going to feel it anyway and you're going to process it anyway. So if you struggle to do that in a sober, manageable, sort of grown up way by having a conversation or by like just being honest with your feelings and actually saying the story I'm telling myself is to deal with maybe your partner or a friend, and actually like processing it and dealing with it in a grown up way. If you don't do that, it's coming out anyway. And whether that leaks out through passive aggressiveness or whether it takes for you to be drunk or high, or I mean, not necessarily high kind of is just a suppressant, but if you're taking some other sort of like stimulant substance, it's coming out in an uncontrolled way. And that might mean that you're somebody who goes into floods of tears, or you might be aggressive, or you might be whatever. But the choice is, as an adult particularly, that you learn how to process your feelings and what you're going through in life in a grown-up way. And that means that it's not leaking into the rest of your life in negative ways that then can leave people feeling you or other people feeling shitty about your relationships,
Yeah, like just, do you know what? I actually grew a set of balls more so after I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Because it would be...
It's much harder.
My sister would say, Bronagh, but you have a tongue like a razor blade. Like, I would just say the most cutting thing, and whenever I was drunk. But now, instead of being lashing out whenever you're drunk or whatever else, I genuinely don't. I would like to think I'm a really straightforward person, and I don't take shit off people because I don't give shit to people. Do you know what I mean? And I think I've always been really sensitive, in myself and how, how people speak to me or how I speak to people. And rather than doing that now, though, what I've learned through sobriety is boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually being able to say, well, I'm not really comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Or, whereas before the people pleasing was just way too much. Like, yes. And then I would get drunk and go, I fucking hate the way I had to do that.
Yeah, because you're resentful.
You're resentful about it.
And if you're being kinder to yourself and you're loving yourself, and by just like sobriety is one means of that, having a creative release, taking time, having time, being present, all of those things means not only that you've overcome something really big, and that because you're being kinder to yourself, it gives you more kindness with other people at the same time, because of your presence and those things as well.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot more empathy,
means you're really doing the work. You're not just firing it out there and it's a waste of fucking time. You're offending everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
It's that you're able to sit and just have the time. I mean, even if, a lot of people find when they travel towards sobriety or they become sober themselves, that they lose a lot of the community around them. That's kind of part of the process, that maybe
people,
family
places
members,
and things, yeah.
that maybe at the places that you would go, things that you were attached to, like anywhere from the bottle to the bag to some, something that happens down the street when you go and buy a bloody bag, But it's letting that go and trusting that as you build yourself and as you set your boundaries and as you become the fully realised version of yourself, you will attract those people.
Abundance.
Yeah.
Like I did lose a lot of friends in terms of not lost, like we would still say hello.
Yeah.
But people who I would have stood in their kitchens until 7 o'clock the next morning, like doing all sorts. I now wouldn't have their number in my phone. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, all those people fell by the wayside. But again, Deefa back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You
So
get back
it's
what you
quality
need.
over quantity.
Yeah.
You know, you get
She's
what you need.
quality.
She
Yeah.
is a quality person.
And
She
being
really
able
is.
to being able to sit, I think this is also a sobriety thing, being able to sit in a space of gratitude, very active gratitude, where you can sit in the car, like you're saying,
Yeah.
you're going to a gig and God knows where, and you can say, the thing that you do every morning, you were talking about in your
Yeah,
podcast,
send each other our little
messages.
gratitude
that
message.
is so important, because of course we're grateful for our kids and our partners and hopefully the lives that we have around us, but it's the small things. It's,
Oh, definitely.
I'm grateful to have those branded biscuits, or I'm grateful to have whatever else. I think that was actually that's going to be the lost podcast files. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're going to have to imagine what that was
We'll
about.
have to put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have penguins, we have penguins. But yeah, to be able to go like, I love my wee chai latte. That's normally like, I think that was this morning, I'm grateful for chai, for the chai latte, the ready-made one.
You've changed.
You've changed. We've changed. Fucking thinking I'm something now.
Used to be you wouldn't get a cup of tea, and now it's fucking cups of chai.
Couldn't even get a cup of tea in my house. No tea bags, no nothing. Not a knicker on the child's arse. But now,
But now
yes.
that you're an internationally successful traveling comedian,
personality,
you are buying
writer, and all kinds of things.
no more multi-packs of chocolate bars, just the 80p ones.
Yeah.
We're just glad that we were able to get you on the podcast.
I am
before
so
you.
honoured
A
to
double
be.
finish.
Am I your first guest ever?
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Well,
for having me.
We made the promise that we were going to bring you on first.
Yeah, and we
and
kept
then
it.
we kind of had to just blab for a few weeks
Yeah.
while we were waiting for you.
Like,
I love
full
it.
time.
I love it. Absolutely. And I would love to come back on anytime
We would love
at
to have
all.
you.
Well, we'll have to have you back on, and we'll have
If
to
we can
then
get you
we'll
again,
do
we can pin you down.
Easy pizza.
Well, we'll do your queers around the corner, because you did name that. So the next time you're on, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
And for anyone that would like to know more about Bronagh,
We'll link Instagram and
Brilliant.
YouTube and things like that in the comments.
Well, you can search her online. She'll probably not reply to you.
Yeah, she's very busy.
But you
No,
can-
I'm going to, do you know what? That's a resolution for me. I'm going to try and be more up to date on my social medias, my socials.
No, at the same time as well, though, if you don't want to reply, don't reply.
Yeah.
But that's it.
It's
Do you know,
not- you
I
don't
just
owe-
genuinely don't get. See, I'm like, right, and I have 4 kids as well, so
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
constantly. But whenever I get a wee minute, I used to get up in the morning at about 6 because that meant that I could start my day an hour before the kids got up.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard you
And I
saying
could
that.
sit and look and go. But for this past couple of weeks, I haven't been doing that. I think
Yeah.
it's the clocks going.
Yeah, it
I don't
throws
know
everything.
what it is. It just
Yeah.
threw everything out of whack for me, and I haven't been doing it, so I haven't had a minute. But I will. And yes,
Well, just-
thank you for having me.
It's sort of releasing you from the anxiety of that, at least.
Yes.
And here, best of luck with all of the amazing gigs that you have coming
Thank
up.
you
We'll
for
hopefully get to
having
see
me
another
on.
one very soon.
What do
I
you,
love
for
you
people that are
guys.
watching, what's coming up? What's coming up for you?
What's coming up? Okay, so we have I'm with Paddy Raff actually. I don't know if they're sold out yet, and I don't think they are. I think there's tickets left for the Balmoral Hotel on the, I want to say the 15th and the 17th of December. So that can be your Christmas backs.
Great.
Put in a good
You
word
wanna
for us and
get
Paddy
away.
Raff out of everyone. We would love him. We would love
would
Seán
you like?
Todd.
Yeah, well, do you know what? We could even try and double up if I get to chat. Hopefully, I'm saying this on live on this, but if I'm talking to him and he can come in, if we could maybe double up, we can share.
We could do a double ender.
We could share.
Oh my god.
Totally. Yeah,
Have to
we'll
get a
see
wee-
what the crack
But
is
yes,
there.
glory hole.
make sure
Yeah.
to just like poke our finger through it. Oh, that's right. That's the clears around the corner.
Sticker it again,
But yes,
Paddy.
make sure and also subscribe to us, and then also subscribe to the Word Up
Subscribe.
podcast.
You can see
and
Becker
Becker and Connor.
Backer and Connor.
and Connor's episode of Word Up as well as a cracker. So
Yes,
make
Merry
sure you do.
Christmas.
Yes, Merry Tricious and a Happy New Year.
Well, look, thank you again. We will get you on again. We'll maybe do that Paddy Raff special. Sure, that'd be gorgeous. We're
That'd be awesome. Do you know what?
let's
I'll
put it out
text him
there.
now. Whenever
We'll
we do that.
manifest it.
We'll
Manifest.
put it out to the universe.
Yes.
But yes,
Indeed.
thank you very much for watching again. And make sure like and subscribe, give us all the follows, tell your friends, and show some love.